With a passion for serving, Doug and BJ Jensen are authors of 18 books, producers of 16 videos, and together have enjoyed working with couples and edifying marriages since 1988. Doug earned his doctorate in biblical studies and biblical counseling, and he has been a teacher of the Bible since 1980. BJ founded the Love and Motion Signing Choir in 1990 and has been the choir director since that time. The Jensens and their choir have presented inspirational programs in 15 countries and 35 states on cruise ships, television shows, in schools, at theme parks, at Major League Baseball games, and in churches. Perhaps influencing their lives more than anything else, the Jensens are bereaved siblings of a brother and sister and bereaved parents of 2 children. Baby Jody Joy died before she was born, and their beloved adult son, John Jay, died tragically in 1995. Doug and BJ are known for their inspirational song signing as well as their multimedia approach to teaching, using effective PowerPoints, presenting thought-provoking original dramas, and writing poignant songs for the bereavement community. The Jensens have a contagious joy, passion, humor, and spirit that they reinforce with sound biblical principles. Audiences worldwide have been encouraged and inspired as they share their testimony and life's journey. And you can too. Spending time with this dynamic duo will equip, encourage, educate, and help to lift your spirits. This is Dr. Doug and BJ Jensen.
Well, we are very happy that you're here to join us today for this Zoom conference. We're zooming into your home because the coronavirus can't stop modern technology. We are here as fellow bereaved siblings and bereaved parents in memory of BJ's brother and sister, Dwayne and Myrna, who both died from cancer, for baby Jody Joy, and for John Jay, who decided to leave this world even though he was living a successful life on the outside. Jay drove his dream car, a green BMW convertible, and lived on the prestigious Coronado Island in San Diego. He was one of the top real estate appraisers for the Bank of America, and he was a handsome, bronzed, and buff bodybuilder. In a moment of despondency, though...
Kind of like you?
Oh, kind of like me? His stepdad? After breaking up with his girlfriend, Jay jumped off the 24-story Coronado Bridge.
I didn't think I would ever recover from such a horrendous loss, and for a time, I didn't want to.
Yeah.
I had to answer the question, do you want to heal? Do you want to feel better? Do you want to get better? Until I could answer that I was ready and willing, there was no way I was going to get better, because healing means you have to take an active role. Once I was ready to move forward, the two of us sought out other bereaved parents who were further along down the road, and we went to counseling.
Yes.
Couples counseling, single counseling. We attended grief meetings and we attended conferences. There were choices and decisions we made daily to help our healing, and we're here to share those things that we learned with you. We were advised the ABCs, A, to always be proactive in your own healing, and that it's best to seek advice from other bereaved parents, and then to choose to implement the advice that could personally work for you.
That's right. You know, the top 10 ways for feeling better during grief are all action words. Find, write, create, take, do, lean, forgive, adopt, serve, and leave. Let's look at each one. Number 1, find a support group, a group of bereaved parents that you can relate to and verbalize your thoughts and feelings. Maybe it's just one bereaved mom or dad or a sibling that you can talk to regularly.
Well, I remember going to my first bereavement support meeting. I was sitting in the parking lot in my car, not wanting to go in. I didn't think I should be there. I didn't want to be part of a bereavement group. I didn't belong. And there was a knock on my window that scared me. It was another couple saying, hey, if you're going into the bereavement support group, we'll walk in with you. And I'm so grateful for them for reaching out to me because I thought I was going crazy. But something I learned at the meeting was that I wasn't going crazy. I was grieving. Well, I thought Doug needed to go to all these support meetings because they were so awesome and I learned so much. But he had other ideas. He said it was just too much emotion for him. He couldn't take those meetings. And what I quickly learned is that I needed to accept and respect his needs and just take care of my own.
Because of the electronic age, it could be someone you're connected with at a conference, or it could be a friend on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, email, or someone who's just a phone call away. It helps to talk with others who have empathy for your situation because of their firsthand knowledge.
Number 2 is to write about it. Writing isn't for everyone, I know. I hated writing after we lost our children, but these personal notes don't have to be critiqued or seen by anyone, so you can be totally honest. You can write about your thoughts, your feelings, your fears, failures, and frustrations and pain. Just get it down on paper, and that somehow helps to dissolve those intense emotions experienced after the death of a loved one. And then date your writings, because
Very important.
yeah, you can look back and see the benefit of that. Maybe a year down the road say, oh, I am healing.
Yes. All right, number 3, create a playlist of music. Music is like oxygen when we're selective. Music can soothe the savage beast of grief. Where words fail, music speaks. But we all have a different idea or taste when it comes to music, don't we?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So when you're creating a playlist, you can do it to sign to sing to dance to listen to, or even to play along with. You can't concentrate on how badly you're feeling when you're concentrating on the positive and uplifting words of the song.
Yeah.
Music should lift our spirits, but only listen to music that's encouraging with an uplifting message.
Well, I actually have 3 different playlists of music. One is for my favorite songs that are upbeat and I can exercise to them or do housework with them or whatever. But the second one is really soft, soothing, quiet music that I fall asleep to. And the third one is my inspirational Christian music that I can play whenever. You know, we go through so many different moods up and down, and so you need music that hits all those different.
And level you out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like the words in this song, as long as I have music. As long as there's a song for me to sing, I can find my way. I can see a brighter day. The music in my life will set my spirit free. Why don't we show them what
Yes.
that looks like?
Let's do it.
When the world seems far beyond me, and I have no place to go, when my
long as I have music, as long as there's a song for me to sing, I can find my way. I can see a brighter day.
The music in our hearts will set our spirits free. Number 4, take care of you, but how? Number 1, eating healthy meals regularly without skipping. The body needs wholesome nourishment more than ever to cope with the complicated process of grief that has assaulted your body. Some of our friends only eat plant-based foods. Some have chosen other eating plans that work for them. Choose what works best for you and gives you energy. Some grievers lose a lot of weight after the death of a child because they say they just can't eat because of the way they're feeling.
I was just the opposite. I overate, stuffing that hole in my heart, trying to help me feel better. But I figured that it's a proven fact that women that carry around a little extra weight live longer than their husbands who bring it to their attention.
Good to know. By the way, I think you're looking good, honey.
Oh, thanks. It's not in the script.
We do. We do recommend eating lots of fruits and vegetables and drinking lots and lots of water. But remember, everything in moderation.
Right. Number 2, get the right amount of sleep. Know how much that your body requires, because we're all different. We all require a different amount, anywhere from 6 to 9 hours. Doug, he's the 6-hour guy. He works really good on just 6 hours sleep. Me, I have to have 9 or 10 to really feel and function my best. If you're having trouble sleeping, can't sleep at all, maybe you need to seek a sleep therapist. Easy for me to say, not. Or maybe a counselor that can help you through this season and get the sleep you need, because the body requires sufficient sleep to rejuvenate itself.
Number 3, exercise sensibly, daily. This can be taking a half-hour walk. We had a white German Shepherd named Cody when Jay passed away.
Yeah.
Cody made sure that we got out to walk at least twice a day, whether we wanted to or not.
Usually we didn't want to, did we?
Yeah. Looking back, we're actually grateful that he did help us in that way, because it would have been so much easier to just stay in the house.
Yeah.
When we feel up to it, we could go swimming, hiking, bike riding. Regular, sensible cardiovascular exercise releases the endorphins. You know what those are? The body's natural opiates that help you feel and function better physically and emotionally. Do you know the best cardiovascular exercise? BJ, what is that?
I know. It's the one you will do.
Yes, pick one you will do.
So number 5 is do something comforting. Choose comfort daily. Maybe you don't think you should, or you don't deserve it, but if a friend of yours was grieving, wouldn't you want them to feel comforted?
Sure.
Yeah, our body actually needs to feel comfort and pleasure to stay healthy.
Yes.
But remember, comfort looks different to everybody. You know, maybe crafts might be really relaxing to some of us, whereas others,
No.
not so much. Reading might be a very soothing way, comforting way to spend time for some. It might be boring for others. Playing with numbers.
Woo!
uh,
Sudoku!
maybe your thing to relax or not. I don't sew, but I found it comforting to make a quilt. I used Jay's work shirts, and I don't know if you can see this or not, and
Put it in the center.
even put his picture in it.
Oh, that's good. Perfect.
Cover us up, huh? And I used his bed sheets and pillowcases, and it's probably the first and last quilt I'll ever make, but now I have this comforting quilt that I can wrap around me when I'm missing Jay. Sometimes I wrap up in 80-degree weather.
Yes, that's true.
So maybe you will find comfort in something like a massage. Or nurturing in nature. Maybe you want to take a walk on the beach on a regular basis, or in a forest, Maybe you want to watch the sunrise or sunset. You need that stimulus. You need that comfort.
Maybe you can get pet therapy from hugging a furry feline.
Yes!
Or cuddling a puppy.
Yes!
Like Jay loved to do with his beloved Siberian Husky Cabo.
Yeah,
What comforts one person may give another person an allergic reaction.
maybe.
Personally, I like to retreat to our bedroom to relax. Yeah, this was after our remodel. In my dreams, respect the different comfort needs of each member of your family. The important thing is to do something that feels nourishing for you every day.
Yeah. Number 6, lean into your spiritual side with prayer, people, praise. When we lose a child, we may experience a double loss. We may lose our faith. We may be angry at God or blame Him for our loss, or we may have a crisis of faith. It's really the devil that is associated with death. God is associated with life and love. Some choose to turn away from their faith, but it was highly recommended to us to get back into a faith community, get back to our faith roots, and lean into our spiritual side.
Reading scripture and praying honestly about the good, the bad, and the ugly parts of grieving afforded me comfort and peace. Attending church or a temple, synagogue, or attending any religious gathering regularly was recommended to help us rebuild our faith, hope, and trust that allowed spiritual healing. It also helped me to be connected to a spiritual community that felt really good and affirming.
Yeah. Number 7, forgive. There may be at least 5 we need to forgive. Consider forgiving others that may have been responsible. You might want to consider forgiving your spouse for not doing or doing things you thought they should or shouldn't.
Yeah, don't even just consider it, do it.
Just forgive
It's really
them.
important.
Something that was really interesting to me that other bereaved parents told me, I needed to forgive myself.
Oh, yes.
And then the one I never considered is to forgive our child. Forgive Jay for leaving us the way he did. Talk about this with each other and see if there's a need that you have to forgive someone. The two of us, pardon me?
And 5th is you may need to forgive God.
Oh, you're
if
right.
you feel like He had some part in your child dying.
Or allowing it to happen.
Yes.
He might have a bigger plan than we can ever imagine. The two of us needed to forgive the police officer that was responsible for our son's death. We learned from reading the police files that Jay had been standing on the Coronado Bridge where he stopped his car. He had been standing there talking to the Coronado police for 45 minutes as they patiently tried to talk him down.
In the meantime, an off-duty San Diego officer arrived on the scene and without permission from the Coronado officer in charge, decided to rush Jay and try to tackle him. The officer's aggression caused Jay to instinctively run away and to escape the tackle by jumping off the bridge.
Our sadness fueled our desire to change the way distress situations were handled. We brought charges against the San Diego Police Department. One thing we learned during that horrible time is that lawsuits draw out the grief of the loss in the first place, and they tend to harden your heart.
Yeah, I don't think it's just drag it out. It just gets you stuck in grief because that's all you think about is the lawsuit.
That's true.
I didn't want either of us to harden our hearts, so we chose to forgive. Not necessarily because he deserved forgiveness, but because we deserved peace. God is explicit in the Bible. He commands us to forgive, and it's for our own blessing and peace.
Mm-hmm.
Forgiveness looks like this in ASL. It's wiping the slate clean.
Wow. Forgiveness is easy to advise, but it's much harder to do.
Oh, yes.
We knew forgiveness would be a process, and it helped me to know that the prisoner that forgiveness frees is me. We dropped the lawsuit when we felt heard that the police department were going to implement new procedures.
Thank you.
Number 8
Adopt an attitude of gratitude.
Yeah, focus on the positive. Negative thoughts will rob your spirit. They'll rob your joy. They'll rob your peace.
It's true.
And they are plentiful because of the horrible, traumatic loss that you've experienced.
Yes.
It's okay to acknowledge that negative, but don't live there in Negativeville. Look for the positive to counteract it. There's always something positive you can find in your day. When we told friends and family that we were going to go to our 55th bereavement conference, they thought we were
Crazy.
yeah. They said, why would anyone want to go to 55 bereavement conferences?
Well, we told them we have 3 great reasons. Number 1, we're grateful for a time when we can join with others to find hope and healing for all of our hurting hearts.
Is that you up there, Marilyn? And number 2, we're grateful for this time that we consider vacation time with our 2 precious children who have left us too soon. During these unique vacations, we get to talk all we want to about our wonderful children with others who truly get it and who want to share their stories with us.
During the coronavirus, of course, it can't be a vacation, it's more of a staycation.
Oh, you're right.
But we can still utilize that time to connect with others. And number 3, we're grateful for a time to connect with an awesome group of people, those whose lifelong friendships we've made at other conferences, and our new forever friends we're going to Zoom to get to know at this conference.
Hopefully, yeah.
The bereavement community is a wonderful bonus family that supports one another and encourages one another through the darkest storms of life.
Another way to find the positive is to start a gratitude journal or a grateful calendar. Write something that you are grateful for every day. Do it first thing in the morning or last thing at night, whatever you were grateful for that day. Ann Voskamp was angry and felt helpless and hopeless after her only sister's death. And she was led to write 1,000 gifts about things she could be grateful for.
I heard that was a bestseller.
It was. I mean, it really helps us realize how important it is to look for the good and to look for the positive.
Number 9, serve. Do something for someone else. No matter how bad you're feeling, it helps you feel better to do something for another person. And you can do that in your child's name and memory. Bereaved mother and former First Lady Barbara Bush said it beautifully. The death of a child is so painful, both emotionally and spiritually, that I truly wondered if my own heart and spirit would ever heal. I soon learned that I could help myself best by helping others.
When I prayed for God to take away my excruciating pain, my help and hope came in a way I never expected it. I was led to make phone calls or write letters to help other people who were suffering instead of looking only in myself. In sign language, those are eyeballs looking inward. I was inspired to look outward to see where I could be of help or service to someone else. And when I did that in honor of Jay and Jody, it just was so awesome. It just made me feel so much better that I'm doing this for my brother and sister or for my children.
Yes, awesome. The amazing thing we learned personally about doing something for somebody else is that in the doing, it lifted our spirits and helped us feel better emotionally.
That's true.
We believe in giving time, talents, and treasures in the name of our loved ones gone too soon. It could be walking beside another bereaved person, or donating to a cause or an organization you believe in. Maybe working in a homeless shelter or at conferences like BP, hopefully next year in person.
Yeah, really.
Or working behind the scenes like there are so many doing this weekend.
All the tech people.
All the tech people, yes.
Thank you.
Or presenting talks, signing songs, sharing the talent. We've learned so much faster by giving of ourselves.
Number 10 is leave a legacy. The last recommended dynamic action that will lift your spirits and help you toward healing is similar to the last because it's doing something for your loved one's memory to perpetuate the love you have for your child. Emma's dad wrote a book about hundreds of ways parents and siblings were honored by their legacies that their families started. And it could give you ideas. You could even take a photo of this to get the information.
Yes.
Raymond died from complications of that H1N1 swine flu. He was a nuclear engineer major at the University of New Mexico in Albuquerque. Since that time, Raymond's legacy has continued to help countless young people through the free Take One for Raymond flu clinics held in the
Take one for Raymond.
Ouch.
Right in the shoulder.
You may feel led to start a scholarship fund or donate a public bench or put money toward a memorial. Maybe support a little league team or organize a run in your city. The possibilities are endless.
They really are. A lady in our Bible study, Sally, experienced the sudden death of her married son, Steve. His wife asked that Steve be put in a medically induced coma to keep his vital organs alive. That extra time in the coma allowed for perfect donor matches to be made. Steve's arms were donated to a 32-year-old veteran who lost both arms and both legs in Iraq by an IED. He had been waiting 3 years for this life-changing gift. He and Steve were a perfect match in skin color, height, weight, blood type. How awesome. Other organs of Steve reached other recipients. Sally told us that God had blessed their family in many surprising ways throughout this horrendous ordeal because Steve continues to live on in others.
Yeah, we even saw a movie last night about Rod Carew and a little boy who just idolized him when he was like 11 years old. That was his favorite baseball player.
Right.
And it come to find out the little boy died. And
After he became an adult.
yeah, and his heart was a perfect match for the heart that Rod Carew needed.
Yeah.
And so when the two families got together, the mom, who had experienced the death of her son, got to listen to her son's heart beating in Rod Carew's chest.
Wow, it was very touching.
That was a touching story.
Yes.
Even though it doesn't seem like it at first, there is hope after the death of a child. There is a light at the end of the health and grieving tunnel.
Yes.
It came to me when I accepted the fact that I am still here on earth because I have things left to do before being reunited with my loved ones. Mark Twain said it. He said, the two most important days of your life are the day you are born and the day you find out why. Death in your family may not be an ending, it may be the start of a new beginning.
Like it was in our family.
For sure.
Yes. The life we live today, after the loss of 2 children and 2 siblings, wasn't our plan. Oh no. Even though it's impossible to imagine that anything of value could come from those losses, our new direction and why we do what we do is even more purposeful and meaningful than we ever imagined. And we've met so many amazing people on this journey.
Yeah, and they say the same thing, don't they?
Yes. I've gone on to get a doctorate in counseling to fulfill Jay's dream of helping others. BJ and I have gotten to travel to 15 countries and 35 states with the Love and
Amazing.
Motion Signing Choir.
Yeah.
We're invited to speak at conferences, and we've even written a book on grief, which was mentioned earlier, and we get to do sketches, which you might see one at this conference. All of that was a foreign concept to us before Jay died.
We never even considered doing any of that before we lost Jay. Well, their love lives on through us, not only in our memories, but our loved ones live on through our actions and the choices we make. We encourage you to pray about ways to pass forward your legacy of love that you have for your siblings and your children. It's one of the healing things that you can do.
No matter what season you find yourself today, barely crawling along, maybe just holding on by a thread, or wrapped in a dark cocoon. Maybe you are slowly emerging back to life, or starting to spread your wings again. We encourage you to make choices and decisions that will help you fly again. Now we're going to zoom into a time of questions. And so we'd like you, during this question and answer period, to raise your hand if you have a question so that Marilyn, our moderator, thank you Marilyn, can help us out and call on people. And then remember to unmute yourself when you're called on.
Okay, let's go join them in person. Thanks for joining us today.